What is a confession of faith? Briefly put, it's a summary of what somebody believes the Bible teaches. But it's usually not just one person, but a group of people who have gathered together to declare, this is what we believe. Now, confessions of faith aren't as popular today as they were in the past. In our modern times, we have something similar. It's called maybe a statement of faith or a declaration of faith or a doctrinal statement or something like that. And these are usually adopted by individual churches, drafted by themselves, and then put on their church website or provided to people when they ask. And my advice for you when looking for a church is that you do ask what they believe. And if they don't already have it written down somewhere or someplace that you can look for it, I suggest you turn around and promptly find the exit and go somewhere that at least knows what they believe. So, why is it important to have a doctrinal statement, a statement of faith, a confession of faith, or something like that? And this is all under the heading of what is a confession of faith. We're just going to have a conversation about it. And so, what is it? Like I said, it's what somebody believes the Bible teaches. Here's the Bible, okay? Lots of people believe it. Lots of cults believe it. Mormons believe it. Jehovah's Witnesses believe it. And how about this? Here's the Bible. Heretics believe it. Okay? So it's important to set down briefly, and Christians historically have believed this, that it's important to set down what we actually believe the Bible teaches. And that's what a confession of faith is. So my confession that I've adopted and that our church holds to is the 1689 Baptist Confession of Faith, also known as the Second London Baptist Confession of Faith. And a lot of people don't like it because it's 68 pages long. Okay, and they say, I really want something shorter, but let's just be patient with me, okay? And let's just think about that argument for a moment, okay? Here I've got sitting next to me 3 volumes by Charles Hodge of systematic theology, okay? Hodge was a pedo-Baptist, obviously, so I would disagree with him on that. But that's not really relative to the conversation. But here we have well over 1,000 pages of someone setting down what they believe the Bible taught, okay? Then along comes Alexander Hodge, and he was like, that's too long. Well, that's not actually what he thought, okay? But he's like, let's condense this down. And he took Charles Hodge's work and narrowed it down and did outlines in theology. So this is called Outlines in Systematic Theology. Outlines, okay? And it's 600 pages long, okay? So what is a confession of faith? It's a summary of what the Bible teaches. So here we've got this Charles Hodge's 3 volumes works setting forth what he believed the Bible taught. We've got an outline of that, which is still 600 pages long. So maybe you go a little bit shorter, trying to summarize what the Bible teaches. And so you reach for one of my favorite books of all time. Probably going to do more on that at a different point. But here we have James Madison Pendleton's Christian Doctrines. Okay, this book is about 400 pages long. And about 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, I did a 100-page outline, 100-page outline of Pendleton's Christian Doctrines. So what is all that? It's a summary of what the Bible teaches, right? And the purpose of a confession of faith is to take all that information, what we believe the Bible teaches, setting it forth in a digestible, portable, succinct, really broad, but yet still providing some amount of depth. And it does all of those things, and it just sets forth briefly what we believe the Bible teaches. So, the Second London Baptist Confession of Faith, it's 68 pages long. 68 pages. You can sit down. If you read slow, it would take you 2.5 hours to read it from cover to cover. If you read a little bit faster, maybe you can read the whole thing in about an hour. And we have many churches today who are arguably products of the push-button, automated, microwave, drive-through Christianity variety, who think that 68 pages is too long to set forth what the Bible teaches, that it needs to be condensed down even more. That's got to fit front on one sheet of paper, front and back, 2 pages to set forth what their church believes. And I would submit to you that that's not sufficient. So why is that? Well, the Second London Baptist Confession of Faith has 160 paragraphs, right? It covers 32 different topics. So it allows them to talk about everything from the scriptures to God, to his decrees, to providence, creation, the fall of man, the covenants, and it goes all the way through to the Christian life, the church, baptism, the Lord's Supper, and then it ends with the end times. I didn't list all of the chapters, but so there's 32 different chapters, and it allows them to touch on a wide variety of things to set forth what Christians, specifically what they believed, what they believe the Bible teaches. And that's all it is. That's all a confession of faith is. It's a setting forth, and I know I've repeated myself, but that's the point I'm trying to make with you is, what is a confession of faith? It's a brief summary of what we believe the Bible teaches. And though it's 68 pages, 160 paragraphs, 32 chapters, I submit to you that it's brief. So if you go into a church and you ask them what they believe, and they hand you a piece of paper, and it's 12 paragraphs, front and back, maybe ask them if there's anything else more fully that sets forth what they believe. Now, you're either the type of Christian that's going to do that or you're not, okay? Either it's important to you what a church believes or it's not. And it's not in my purview currently to go into trying to get you to more highly esteem confessions of faith or doctrinal statements. This is more of a defense, really, of what a confession of faith is, how it differs, really, definitionally, from something like a statement of faith and a creed or something like that, so understand in this point as well, when I'm advocating for a lengthier document, like a confession of faith, because they're most always longer, when I'm advocating for a confession of faith, I'm not saying there's no place for anything shorter. That's not the point. The point that I'm trying to make is what I fear is happening, which is a neglect of something that's longer. The Bible's a big book, and heretics believe it. Okay? So to have a brief 68 pages where we set down, this is what we believe, and it's not too long, and I don't think it's too much to expect from a congregation or a Christian to have them understand, and for a church to set forth in unity that they believe that many things. Is there a place for shorter things? Yes. Yes, there is. Is there a place for statement of faiths and certainly for creeds? Yes. Yes, there is. But here's what I want to get to as I'm coming to the end, okay? Is there a place for a longer summary of a doctrinal belief system that's adopted broadly? Yes. Yes, there is. And the more points that we can express unity on, the stronger our unity will be. I wish you well.